I think I needed everybody to give up on me fighting again for me to know I was coming back to fight just for me.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we're breaking down the biggest facts, talking points, and the most important details behind one of the longest-awaited fights in women's MMA history.
Ronda Rousey, Gina Carano, May 16th.
It is a fully sanctioned professional MMA match. Despite certain critics and fans treating it as such, this isn't being promoted as a celebrity exhibition or gimmick fight. The matchup is a fully sanctioned professional MMA bout.
I've been asked for so long, would you ever beat Ronda Rousey? And the answer is always yes.
That means 5 full rounds, official judges, and a licensed athletic commission. In simpler terms, the result counts in both competitors' official win-loss records. Rousey enters at 12-2, while Carano stands at 7-1.
Well, this is the last time I'm ever going to be able to do it. It's just like everything is the way it always should have been.
While both their legacies will remain defined by performances in their prime, the outcome will forever be etched in history. So if you're the kind of fan who's still seething over Jake Paul holding an official win over Mike Tyson, then you know just how high the stakes are for the Rousey versus Carano match.
I feel like this fight between us, it's fate.
Neither fighter has competed in MMA for a long time. Fans invoke both women's names so much, it doesn't feel that long since either stepped away from MMA.
She left and I never thought she'd come back. And then to see Ronda Rousey come back, definitely never thought she'd come back after 2016.
However, the gap between their last bouts is truly massive. Rousey last fought in December 2016, after a brutal knockout loss to Amanda Nunes derailed her much-hyped return. But that's relatively recent compared to Carano, who last stepped into an MMA cage a whopping 17 years ago.
To come back into it, this is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done.
Like Rousey, Carano's last bout was also a rough night for the fighter, ending with the first-round knockout at the hands of Chris Cyborg. Put it into context, fans are watching two former superstars step back with little idea of what to expect. Cage rust, situational awareness, and most importantly, durability are all major questions heading into this fight.
I want women to know, you can do anything. If I can come back and do an MMA fight after all this time, you definitely can reach your goals.
It is Netflix's first live MMA mega event. Following WWE Raw's move to Netflix, the streaming giant put one foot into the pro wrestling world.
And it's not just any MMA show, it's on Netflix, biggest platform in the world.
And with Rousey versus Carano, Netflix is expanding into the MMA sphere. As such, this isn't just a comeback fight. It's Netflix's first pitch into a whole new arena. Produced by Jake Paul's Most Valuable Promotions, MVP for short, the event is officially classified as MVP MMA 1, making Rousey and Carano's bouts a truly history-making matchup.
We love working with all fighters. You know, I've fought MMA fighters in boxing, and we've always worked with the PFL. Now that deal is up, I think we've wanted to have a bigger role in MMA. It's such a wide open space right now. It's like the Wild West.
While other promotions have their own fan bases, MMA has largely been seen as a UFC monopoly. But with Netflix going all out with a traditional fight card, celebrity appeal, and mainstream attention, the event is billed as a full-blown spectacle.
I feel like there's a door, there's a path to do something really big.
The fight is classified as a featherweight bout. A lot of pre-match buzz in MMA circles has centered around Gina Carano making the weight cut.
I kind of like to describe myself as like a door opener. I open the door and then people just rush through. And that seems to be a theme in my life.
Despite a 17-year gap since her last match, the weight class could play a huge role in her favor. Rousey built her UFC legacy as a bantamweight, while Carano dealt with competitors at featherweight. As such, much of the speculation surrounding the event also comes down to whether this will be a factor.
I really was able to find my love for the sport again because of this fight.
At the same time, moving up in weight could end up in Rousey's favor, removing the brutal cuts that became a talking point in her later career. Of course, since neither is part of a division anymore, a significant portion of the fan base is willing to overlook this technicality.
That walk out to the cage and getting in the cage is the prize, is the moment. You know, you did everything you could to get to that cage and you can let go.
The fight could have happened before. Among the ultimate dream matches in women's MMA, the fight could have happened much earlier.
How serious was that?
It was very serious.
What stopped it from happening?
On the Joe Rogan Experience, Carano revealed that Dana White tried to woo her back into MMA in 2014 against Rousey, who was dominating the UFC women's bantamweight division at the time. While Carano was excited by the possibility, she felt disrespected by the way she was being rushed into the bouts.
You just can't go back into that world and feel instantly disrespected on so many levels. So I was like, I'm cool, I'm gonna go. And then I think another movie came up and I was like, sweet, I'll just go do this movie then. I don't need to be disrespected.
Ultimately, she chose to pursue her Hollywood career instead. In an interview on the Ariel Helwani show, Rousey claimed Dana White tried to make the bout again, this time as a way to retire the UFC women's featherweight title. However, talks fell through after Rousey felt insulted by UFC's chief business officer Hunter Campbell's dismissive attitude toward the division.
Just the way that he spoke of it, how dismissive he was, and the disdain that he had for the fighters of that weight.
A clash of styles. One of the biggest reasons why fans wanted this fight to happen was the huge difference in either fighter's style.
What we were doing together was starting to peel away at layers of how the industry was really on her shoulders in the past. And it came back to the root of what she really loved, which is a deep understanding of martial arts at the highest level.
Rousey built her entire career based on elite judo, takedowns, and of course, the armbar submission that functioned as her own form of KO. Carano, meanwhile, came from a Muay Thai background, known primarily for her striking ability, relentless aggression, and forcing opponents into brawls.
She's just got a good instinct for fighting, good heart, good mentality. She's almost a savant to learn new things, just picks it up quick.
On the flip side, both were also criticized for relying too much on their tried and tested approaches. But with possibly a one-time return now, fans are expecting a clash between Rousey's grappling and Carano's striking. So the question remains, can Rousey close the distance and lock in the armbar? Or does Carano take control on the feet?
The most challenging part was there's no backup plan here. You're doing this, and there's no excuses.
The payout structure. Purses are always part of the appeal surrounding any hyped MMA event, although the exact payout behind this bout hasn't publicly been revealed.
Our motto has always been fighter first, and so I think that's why a lot of people are gravitating towards us.
Still, both MVP and Ronda Rousey have openly promoted its superiority to the UFC. Speaking on the Ariel Helwani show, MVP co-founder Nikisha Badarian claimed that every fighter on the card will be paid a minimum of $40,000.
That's guaranteed, and then every fighter has a performance bonus in addition to that.
This is significantly higher than the UFC's entry-level contracts of $12,000 to show and another $12,000 to win. Badarian also confirmed a performance bonus for every fighter, although this will vary depending on the competitor. MVP also plans to share over 50% of the revenue with fighters, far above the UFC's generally believed range of 16 to 20%.
Our objective is to not lose money, to obviously make a little bit of money, but it's really about putting the money back in the pocket of the fighters. They're the ones risking their lives. They're the ones that people are paying to see.
The rest of the card. Beyond the main event, MVP seems to be banking heavily on nostalgia appeal.
I think this fight is going to do extremely well. Francis is on the undercard versus Felipe. We got some more negotiations going on for some other fights on the card that are going to really shock people as well.
Several recognizable faces are present on the card, including big names like Nate Diaz, Francis Ngannou, and Junior dos Santos. While these might not be athletes in their absolute prime, they do have definite selling power. So instead of setting a lineup of younger prospects, MVP appears to have gone for a list of recognizable names to hype up the event as a bumper card.
I believe I'm going to hit Nate like he's never been hit before. I understand he's very experienced, but I believe the way the momentum is rolling, the youth I have on my side, the speed and power I have, give him something he's never felt.
Match selection reflects the kind of crossover appeal between former champions that even casuals would be intrigued by. While the A-list talent will be featured on the Netflix show, matches on the undercard will be broadcast on YouTube.
Before it would have just been something to us, but now this means something to the entire industry.
Ronda is treating this as her final fight. Those expecting this to be the beginning of Ronda Rousey's return to MMA shouldn't get their hopes up too high.
I am definitely loving it more than ever before, but there's definitely been people trying to convince me to continue.
While it is easy to assume she might have more in store after such a high-profile comeback, Rousey herself isn't handing out any promises. In an interview with The Sun, she called the bout a one-and-done situation, further stating that she promised her husband and her sister that it wasn't a full-time return.
And I want to have more kids too. We want to try for at least 2 more. And it's like, I found a way to fit this into the rest of my life.
But whether MMA, pro wrestling, or any form of athletic sports, the real answer is never say never. According to Rousey, she might gear up for more fights with Gina Carano, if it's the kind of fight that demands a trilogy.
It depends on how this fight goes. This fight could end up being like some crazy trilogy or something like that, but I promised my husband that this is the last one.
Who's the favorite to win? Everyone likes an underdog, but with 17 years since her last match and a 4-year age gap between herself and her opponent, Gina Carano enters as the heavy underdog.
I want us both to have the most incredible experience fighting each other, giving that to the world, and both being proud of whatever happens in there when we leave.
Rousey's superior grappling, Olympic-level judo background, and UFC experience also make choosing her a safer bet. According to multiple experts and betting odds, Rousey leads as a staggering -650 favorite compared to Carano's +450.
I wouldn't have taken this fight if I thought I couldn't win, and I do believe I can.
To put it simply, these odds translate to roughly 86% chance in Ronda's favor. Carano hasn't been completely written off though, as certain experts point to her natural size advantage and striking ability as a possible difference maker. No matter the outcome, fans will mainly be hoping for a match that's as equally competitive as it is entertaining.
We're in the underdog corner, and I like it.
Whose corner will you be on for this fight? Throw some punches in the comments.